Welcome to Full Contact Marriage. I'm Scott. This is my wife Stephanie, and we are here to talk about sports. What do you want to start with?
The Grey Cup.
The Grey Cup. Oh, the best 10 minutes of any football game this season. Who thought it was going to be that close?
No one. The Stamps were favored to win by like 2 touchdowns, like 14 and a half points.
Like the 14 points they gave up in the first quarter?
The first 5 minutes.
What do you think of the overtime format?
I like our overtime format. It's the one thing that I like better in the CFL than the NFL. I like that they both got 2 possessions. Like they each get an even number of possessions, and I like that they have to go for the 2 points. I would probably rather see in a Grey Cup game or a championship game. I think I would rather see them play another quarter.
I would too. I don't see why they would do that. I think playing another quarter gives you 15 minutes of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, what do we do? A coin toss? With football, you get a predetermined amount of time. Like, you know that you have that much time, 15 minutes. They could even do overtime, could be 5 minutes in the CFL, because you can change leads in the CFL 3 times in 5 minutes. Because with the 3 downs, like you have to play that. Strategy comes into overtime. It's not just throw it down the field and hope for the best, right?
I think that you could change it to 10-minute quarters.
Okay.
Going into it, and then you do a 10-minute quarter. If it's still tied after 10 minutes, and I think you could do another quarter of 10 minutes, and then at that point, I think you could go to you each get to play.
But it wouldn't be a quarter.
Oh, I guess so. Hey,
It would just
fine.
be
It would just be an
time.
extra time.
And then do 5 minutes if you're still tied. Like,
Maybe.
this is the
Like,
thing too, is there's no timeouts in overtime.
No.
That you have to be on it. You take the penalties, you lose the downs.
Yeah.
And you don't get a timeout. All challenges would have to be from
Yeah,
the
but they would check a lot of stuff in overtime.
Would they?
Yeah. I don't know. When was the last time that there was an overtime in Grey Cup?
Apparently in like 64 or something. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so it's not something that happens enough that I think that it'll warrant that much discussion from the CFL.
Well, depending on what side of the fence you're on, if you think that the league is that good, that teams are competitive, you might see more. Or if you're on the other side, that the teams are that shitty in the league, that you might see more overtimes happen. Either way, I think it's more probable. You're seeing more parity in the teams, but I don't think it's in the good way. I do think that there's teams in the East that will be better next year, depending on signings, injuries, and things like that. I thought Hamilton should have gave a better run this year than they did.
Yeah, but the whole East was just terrible. Like, the Grey Cup champions didn't have a 500 record.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Stampeders.
2 games. That's all you have to win to be the best for the year. So, let's talk about coaches' challenges in the NHL. Right now, you get 1 challenge, and if you lose your timeout. I think they need to revisit that in the offseason.
Now, why they need to revisit it, we went to a Flames game 2 weeks ago, and it was against Chicago, and Chicago scored a goal that they wanted to look at for high sticking and goaltender interference, and they couldn't because they had already used their timeout in the second period, which they needed to do. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have taken the timeout in the second period, but because they did that, they now have no challenge. So I think they need 1 of each.
Yeah, I think if you win your challenge, you should be able to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wrong on the challenge, you lose your
challenge.
Your challenge.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as in tennis. You get 2 challenges, and if you continue to be right, you can challenge 50 times in a match. And if you continue to be right, you can challenge 50 times. But if you get it wrong twice, you're out.
I think that it's something that needs to be the right call at that level. People make mistakes. It's fine. Things get missed. But at the end of the day, we need the right call to happen. Mm-hmm. Look at the Flames in 2004. Let's not talk about that.
It was in.
But it's something I think they should look at in the off season and making those adjustments.
Well, because this is the first year of Coaches Challenges, right? So, I mean, it's a learning experience for everyone. But I think that's something that definitely needs to happen.
Another change that I would personally like to see, and I know I might get some flack for this, is if the goalie gets a penalty, he serves it. And the backup goalie comes out and plays for the 2 minutes until the whistle's over, and then you can decide what you want to do.
And then what? So if they're still playing, when the penalty's up, the goaltender just stays in the penalty box?
He come out, he goes to the bench, and they send a player out, just like...
So he's going to skate across? Like, who... How is that?
Yeah, he skates across the ice. It's not that hard. They practice skating at practice all the time.
Okay, so then there's 4 people on the... There's 4 skaters. So you're going to have, what, 3 defensemen and a forward on the ice?
You'll have your 4, and when your goalie gets out of the box, you can skate to the bench, and you can send out whoever you want.
Yeah, and then how long does it take to get them across, though? If it's a regular
It's not my problem. Stop doing
ridiculous.
penalties. There has to be a consequence for the guy that's actually doing the penalty.
Then if it's something that is so heinous, goalies rarely get penalties. And when they do, it's usually minor. It's stripping, it's hooking, sometimes cross-checking. Yeah. If it's something heinous, then it gets looked at by player safety and they get a phone call or a suspension or a fine.
That's fine. But anybody else commits a penalty, they go to the box.
It's a ridiculous call to try and say that a goalie's going to go to the penalty box.
Why not?
For the reasons I just said.
Because you think it's dumb and he has to skate across the ice?
He can't join the play.
Sure he can.
He
doesn't have to join the play.
He's just going to get out of the penalty
box.
Skate
across the ice. That's your penalty. You messed up. You have to serve the time. So, yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think about this? Let us know.
Speaking of goalies, the Flames have 2 right now. Brian Elliott and Chad Johnson. Which one do you like?
We have 2 backups. It's awesome.
I thought they paid Brian Elliott more money than what apparently they did.
He's looking for a contract. There's a reason they let him go. Right?
And he's only a year older than Johnson. I had to look it up because I wanted to know how much they were making, and then I found out they were only a year apart.
Honestly, with the Flames' defense, on paper, we have yet to see it, but on paper, I should be able to play goal for them. They don't need Carey Price to win games.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Carey Price win games.
No.
They're also not having people score enough goals either.
3 goals, that's what you need to win a game in the NHL. If you can score,
Buffalo's proving that.
if you can score 3 or more goals in a game, you have a chance to win. Well, that's it for us here on Full Contact Marriage. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will see you guys next week.
Thanks.